We just got to figure out ways to win, compete at the highest level and try to do everything to get wins. So we got enough to do it, with guys in and out of the lineup. But, when we get healthy, then we can start figuring things out even more.
Those five, they've been pretty much our most consistent guys throughout the season thus far. So just put them together, and like I said, for the foreseeable future, that's going to be our lineup, barring any type of injury. And I thought it went well.
Okay, so the Lakers, they reverted to their opening night starting lineup. Good amount of success, right, in the 19 minutes on the floor together. They've tinkered with 11 different lineups this season. You were in the building last night, Ramona. I'm a little sick of asking this, but here we go again. Is this the turning point for the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, they just need to pick a lineup and go with it, right, so everybody can settle into a role. And I think what became very obvious over the last month is that they were asking way too much of LeBron James offensively. And when you have LeBron James playing point guard, he's bringing the ball up 70% of the time since December 12th. Okay? Before that, it was 60% of the time. So that's a lot more on LeBron James because they were going with a defensive-minded lineup. And in those LeBron minutes, I'm going to say this and let this sink in. In those LeBron minutes, they were getting killed. They were minus 120. Teams were outscoring them by 120 points with LeBron on the court. That is never true of a LeBron James team. They are always better with LeBron on the court. And so you put D'Angelo Russell in there, you get him Austin Reeves in the starting lineup, you get some shooting around him, some other playmaking, so that he doesn't have to do everything. Yeah. There's space out there. Last night he was just +2, but that's, at least we're in the positive category and not minus 120 since December 12th.
I look forward to April 1st. Game 78.
April Fool's Day?
Game 78. Is this the turning point for the Lakers? There's 4 more games left. Is this first? The steering wheel has to work before you can turn it anywhere. So, can we win a few games in a row before we start talking about turning points? Look, I don't really even care who starts as long as it's Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I want those 3 people in the starting lineup. I've been beating the start Austin Reeves drum all season when he was coming off the bench. He does need to shoot better from 3. I like that Darvin Ham went with a lineup that leans offense because this team's offense has been stuck in mud for a long time, and the only way out is to get it out of the mud. Me personally, I think their best 4 guys together are those big 3, and Rui Hachimura, I think, needs to play more as the 4th guy with them. I like his size, but I don't mind leaning into D'Angelo Russell as a playmaker, secondary playmaker, shooter. I like this group. Let's roll it out and see what happens. They got to dig this offense out.
Okay, Perk, how are they going to do that?
Well, I don't want to overreact as well because last night I just feel like with this matchup with the Lakers and OKC, Anthony Davis is going to own Chet Holmgren in this matchup. We saw it the last time they played Oklahoma City. I believe AD had 28 and 11, and then last night he had a monster double-double. But credit Darvin Ham not to just changing the lineup, but also he went zone majority of the game. The Oklahoma City Thunder had, I think they shot 49 3-pointers last night. That's not in their character, right? They're a team that's used to getting downhill, getting out in transition. I thought the Lakers did a great job of, one, keeping down their turnovers and also getting turnovers out of the zone and getting out in transition. But, to think that the Lakers season has, this might be the turning point, I'm not there yet. Matter of fact, I'm not there at all because, out of their next two out of their next 3 games, it should be wins for sure. I believe it's the Blazers and the Wizards, but no, I still think in order to get where they're trying to go, and that's win the NBA championship. Anytime you have LeBron James on your team, they're far away from that.
It's clear that it is our job to overreact to everything they do, whether they win a couple, lose a couple. With that being said, a big win can change the momentum of a season.
Sure.
If we are going to overreact, let's overreact when they win a game. They won a game versus a key young team last night, a talented young team who's been playing well all year. This is a Lakers team that we have been questioning the entire season and whether they have the right pieces. Do they have enough? Can LeBron lead them again? Months right before this, we talked about how Pelinka had the most successful summer and had a great job putting all these assets together. You never know when things click. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes. They've switched lineups. They're back to the lineup they had before. I do agree with Zach. I like Reeves, and I like Anthony Davis and LeBron in that lineup. I do think they have enough. I really do. I think it's a matter of them coming together and consistently getting good play. I think they could contend, Perk. Who is Denver? Is Denver that much better than this team? Is Denver like just that dominant? They have a great first lineup, but their second, their bench is questionable.
They did sweep them.
Huh? So?
They swept them last year. The Clippers are also a better team than them right now. So I'm saying, like, are we really going to say, you really going to go out on the limb and jump off the porch and say that right now with this team that the Lakers have, that you could actually pick them to come out of the Western Conference?
No. I didn't say I'm not picking them to come out of the West. I'm not under the delusion that this team just needs to blow it up and that they can't go to the playoffs and compete.
So can we expect any tinkering or moves in the next 3 weeks?
Well, I think you look at what they have right now, and they don't, outside of Austin Reeves and maybe a first-round pick in the future, they don't have much to offer. And Austin Reeves, as Zach just detailed, needs to be in there. And so I think if they continue to lose the way they did the other night against Phoenix with a non-competitive game, then you look at it. But if you show signs like they did in this game against Oklahoma City, where you put that lineup back together, then I think you let that group play and see if they can come together, get Gabe Vincent back, and see. There was a reason they went out and got Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, we got to see him play. And look, the Lakers' first-round pick, the one they can trade distant into the future, that has a lot of value around the league. Some teams like Jordan Hood-Schifino, who they just drafted, like they can put together a package without Austin Reeves in it. But if they want to get somebody really, really impactful that's not on a contract they're worried about, like Zach LaVine, for instance, they want to get a player other than him. People mentioned DeJounte Murray.
Right.
Austin Reeves is probably going to have to be in that deal. And to me, that's just a lateral move. That's not really changing their life as a team. And we can sit here and talk about, can the Lakers contend? Can they win a play? Winning 3 playoff series in the West, Perk just listed off a litany of teams. It's just good team after good team after good team. And the Lakers are 10th. Like, I don't think we can start having the contend conversation until they're 6th or 5th or 7th.
It's the same thing we said last year, and then they made a run and went all the way to the conference finals.
Different year, different conference.
I know that the Nuggets they're not as good. I don't think the Nuggets are as good as a whole. All I'm saying is
Jokic might be better.
It's a harder conference.
No, man. All I'm saying is this team proven that on a night where they're playing their best basketball, they can beat anybody. They've had injuries this year. It's always going to be up and down for the Lakers, bro. We overreact to everything they do.
They're so. I'm not overreacting. That's why I didn't overreact to this game last night. That's why with this starting lineup, Darvin Ham had to go zone because they can't guard the perimeter. Like, you have quick guards, and that was a nice strategic move by Ham to go zone because he know if he wouldn't have, they would have got cooked around the perimeter.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is Oklahoma City knows what to expect. I'm not saying that the Lakers can't make it to the playoffs and make noise, but that's not the goal when you have a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, is to make noise. Just like we put Steph on the ceiling to compete for a championship, we do the same thing for LeBron James. It's either finals or nothing.
Well, then by that argument, then yeah, I don't know if they're going to win the championship. I'm just saying I don't think this is a team that needs to go up and blow up and make all these different moves to compete.
And I agree Look, feel me on this, Austin. Stay with me. Even if they make a move, it's not a move out there that's going to make them a contender in my eyes in the Western Conference.
Well, they're 6-12 over their last 18 games. And Austin, just in case you needed a reminder about how the Denver Nuggets are playing in our Wednesday doubleheader, we have Giannis and Dame in Cleveland to take on Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs at 7:30 Eastern. So, Austin, is that a fair depiction of what's going on for the New York Knicks?
A little bit. Let's roll the tape because I'm going to show you what stagnant is for real. Because this is interesting. First off, you always want to see your key player hitting the big free throws, but it happens. It's an imperfect game. Guys are going to miss free throws. Lord knows I've been there. But this is what you don't want. Compiling mistakes. Hands on his knees. He gets back cut. Cole Anthony goes right behind him. Gets the rebound. That would have been his rebound. He leaks out, and then this is even another mistake he makes. This is his third of the play. He runs the Fultz, leaving Paolo, the best player for the Magic, open for a midi. So now, which was a one-point game, is now a three-point game. These are the mistakes that cause losses not only in the regular season, but a loss in the playoffs and can lose a series. If there's any coach that I know doesn't put up with that type of effort, it's Tom Thibodeau. So you know that's on the film today. I expect him to be much better, especially when Brunson gets back.
That is absolutely right. We know that Knicks fans, that exact clip has certainly been making the rounds. But Woj, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about the Knicks and their 5-game winning streak since getting OG Anunoby. Now they've been a little bit up and down. It's important to point out that Jalen Brunson hasn't been there for their losses, right? But what makes sense for the Knicks right now as, again, we're getting closer and closer to that trade deadline?
Yeah, the Knicks made their big trade deadline deal. They did it in this summer with OG Anunoby. They're optimistic they'll get Mitchell Robinson back before the playoffs. That's going to be big for this team. The Knicks still are in the market for a big-time NBA star. That's what they want. That's what they want to use their assets on. He is probably not going to be available to them at the trade deadline. But what they can do, they can improve their bench. They can get another playmaking guard for Jalen Brunson. They can do some small things around the edges without compromising themselves on the big stuff. But the Knicks made their splash, and he starts it forward for them now.
Well, and it certainly looked like that splash was well worth it, particularly how they started off. Perk, I just want to check one thing really quick with you. You said a couple of weeks ago that you think the New York Knicks are the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Do you still believe that?
I see what you're doing here, but yes, I do believe it. I see what you're doing here because I know Philly done won a few games, and I know we just saw Dame Dollar hit a game winner against the Sacramento Kings, but I'm still standing on what I'm standing on right now with the Knicks because we know what we're going to get out of them every night. We know what they're going to do every single night on both ends of the floor, right? They have an identity. And Julius Randle, he has to be better. When he's at an all-NBA caliber player, the Knicks could compete with anybody. But when he's moping around and doing what Austin showed he did last night, that's bad. And he will correct it. Tom Thibodeau will correct it. But this team is not ever going nowhere without Jalen Brunson. And let me constantly remind y'all, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat, they did the unthinkable last year with Jimmy Butler leading the way. The New York Knicks, they may not have a whole lot of household names, but they got some hoopers over there. Got to be careful.
Well, playoff Jimmy Butler is better than anybody that the Knicks have. But look, I think the Knicks are the fourth best team in the East, but I don't think they're far from 2 or 3, given Milwaukee's struggles on defense, and Philadelphia's kind of been up and down. Now Joel's back. We'll see how they look. I think the Knicks would have some chance to beat either of those teams in a playoff series. This is a good, deep, nasty team, physical, that nobody's going to want to play against. And what Woj said, co-signed all of it. You don't need to rush this process and go all in for some mega trade this year. Keep the powder dry. 2 trades in the last 2 years, just little fringy trades, should really be held up as examples of how teams can help themselves without shelling out too much. One is a Knicks trade. One little piddling pick in the 20s for Josh Hart. Totally changed their team. Celtics, 1 first-round pick for Derek White. Totally changed their team. The Knicks have enough ammo that they can look for one more guy like that with 1 pick and still have enough left over for the big thing. Co-sign all that. The Knicks are good.
Oh, and Perk is loving, clearly, what he is hearing here.